Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ken Frederick Podcast. This is episode 35, Stranger Things Season 1 Review. I want to say thank you for listening, and if you just stumbled across the podcast here, you can check us out at kfpodcast.com, facebook.com/kfpodcast, and then Ken Fred Podcast on the Twitter. Got a special star today. We got Perry here to the right of me.
Hi.
Special star.
Well, I saw you put guest stars.
I'm not a guest star.
You are a guest
I'm here
star.
every other week.
All right.
Oh, what a weird night.
We got Justin here,
Hey, everybody.
and we got Donald.
Hey, what's up?
And myself. So we're going to go over on the show today. We're going to talk about a little bit of the backstory, how we discovered the show, the movie plot synopsis, our favorite moments. The worst.
I love that it's movie, even though it's not a movie. I
Yeah, because
messed up on that one. TV show.
I feel like the guy from Anchorman, where I'll literally read whatever is on.
You read whatever I write. And Tits McGee couldn't be here tonight. Just read whatever's on there.
Yeah, I will read whatever is on here.
Best moments, worst moments.
Will there be a second season?
So tell us a little bit just quick about this show, what we're talking about here.
So Stranger Things is a show on Netflix that is 8-hour-long episodes. Is the season 1, and not an 8-hour long. It's 8 1-hour-long episodes. I know that came out a little
8
weird.
5-hour episodes.
17 26-hour. No, so it's 8 1-hour-long marathon.
Just say it's 8 episodes that are an hour long each, and let's move on to the
I
next
can't get
one.
what happened in between the two episodes. Like it's starting to melt my brain. All right, so. Yeah, it's a supernatural show. It's kid friendly. So there's
A
nothing.
little bit. It's just some parts that were a little,
What do you think was?
there's a sex scene in it a little bit and some sexual
Yeah,
stuff. and
it's nothing.
a little
you can't-
scary.
Minor.
It's less than what you'd see on like NCIS or.
Your kids watch NCIS?
No.
All my kids watch NCIS.
All of Ken's children.
So, little backstory with this is this show, I'd seen this pop up on Facebook multiple times, like people talking about it. I even seen like pictures of the monster, different things like that, and I ignored it. Like I get annoyed when people tell me I need to watch a show.
Me too.
When people are like,
Yeah.
you need to watch House of Cards, Orange is the New Black on Netflix, I'm like, look, I watch Marvel stuff on Netflix, and that's it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to watch anything else.
I pay $10 a month, so
Right.
maybe something will pop up that's nerd related.
That's it.
And then Don texts all of us after he watched the first episode.
Well,
He's
wait.
like, you all have to watch this
Wait,
show.
no, that's not what happened. You just screwed that up.
Yep.
So what happened is Ken texted us and said,
You started it.
"Yeah,
Yeah, I
So,
did something.
I was completely against this show. I didn't want to know what it was. Didn't care about it. Ken texts us, and for some reason, if Ken tells me we need to watch something, then it's like okay in my brain. It's like Game of Thrones. I ignored it for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Ken's like, "Look, you got to watch this," and I was like, "All right."
When
And
I say
watched it, loved
something's
it.
good, it's good.
Yeah.
Like it's
the only
quality.
thing the only advice I take from him. I don't take it on hair advice or
Hey, just because you don't look like the villain from The Fifth Element, you're
does.
jealous.
But he sent a text. I was in Deep Creek and I was away, and he sent that text and he was like, "Guys, we should do a podcast about this and we should watch this." And I was like, "Yep," and then loaded it on Netflix and started watching it. And then I started talking about how good it was.
And I had guys in the shop coming in like, "Did you watch Stranger Things?" I'm like, "No." And like, I rarely give in to like someone telling me it's really good. But whenever I saw it on Netflix a couple times, like in my queue, and it's like 99% Ken will like this. I'm
Yeah.
like, don't you tell me what I'll like Netflix.
Right? I was angry with it. I was
Yeah.
like, "Get out of here, Netflix! I'm not watching this show."
So I watched. I'm like, I'll give it 2 episodes, and I'm like, I had nothing going on. I was sunburnt from going outside for the first time in 10 years, and I sat inside on a Sunday, and me and Mindy watched the first 2 episodes,
Yeah.
and I was hooked. And that's why I sent the text out.
You
I
sent the
said,
text, and then I watched 4 in one day while I was in Deep Creek, and then I powered through it, and then I started harassing everybody here.
well, I
Watch
watched
it.
I watched 6 in one. I think I watched 6 on that Sunday. 6 or 5 or 6.
You were like, "We're on episode 6. We have 2 left," and then I passed you, and I'm like, "Watch it!" And started yelling.
and
at
I
you
didn't want to
about
watch it because I was into the Olympics. Teaser, if you didn't listen to that, that was a good episode. We did an episode about the Olympics.
it. And
but,
Justin was. You were a little down on it at first.
You were poo-pooing it.
I didn't really like the first. I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. I wasn't as into it as you guys were in the first couple episodes. But I powered through, and I ended up enjoying it. There are a few things that we'll talk about in a little bit that I wasn't real big on, but overall it was enjoyable. I'll watch a second season.
And you watched it before all of us.
I watched it the day it came out, and I didn't even know about it. Funny you should ask. I sat down, turned Netflix on, and there it was. And I said, all right, whatever. And
So you're the one guy that listens to Netflix like, Perry, you should watch
He's
this.
like,
You're
why
"It
not?"
was all right, Netflix.
It was my whole TV, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Okay. And then I watched all 8 episodes in one sitting. I have no
Holy
control
crap.
of my life.
You put a whole
up
day
till-
of work in Stranger Things.
I was up till 4 o'clock. I was like,
and then,
all right.
and then you just were like, what did I just do?
That was pretty good.
Stranger Things just raped me,
think
and I
I'll
didn't know
have a
it.
nap.
Other than that, I go back to playing track and field on my Nintendo,
Nice. So we all got into it. The
Yep.
show is set in the 80s,
which is great.
which
Yeah.
is great. And it's about a little kid that goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody who's listening to this probably knows the plot of it.
Yeah.
But
A little young Will.
little young Will, and you had the 4 kids. You had Mike, Dustin, Will, and Lucas.
Yes.
Will's the one that goes missing, and then they had the little girl 11,
Yep.
who I thought was great.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
I thought she was a really good actress. She was probably one of my favorite characters. Dustin was a good character. The kid with
Dustin
the
was
teeth.
my favorite.
Yeah.
I just liked hearing his lisp yelling shit
Oh,
over and
yeah.
over again. It was funny.
Yeah.
The scene where the little girl's gonna get undressed, and
Oh,
take
yeah.
her robe off, and he's like, "Did you see what she did?" And he just keeps doing it, and he's like, "She was like this," and he just keeps doing that motion system. That one was really
I
funny.
love when he found the pudding. That was a throwback to Chunk
yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I knew she was hoarding all this pudding. It was great.
The kids were great. All of them were good. I really liked Mike. I thought he was a good lead character.
Yeah, Mike was great.
I will say Lucas annoyed me a little bit.
Yes.
He was
Lucas-
angry.
Yeah.
Lucas annoyed me until like the last couple episodes.
He redeemed
until he
himself
was
then.
Yeah,
trusted in the storyline with
Yep.
11, then I was fine with
He
it.
kept calling her an idiot and a freak and a weirdo. And
Yeah.
And he just seemed the character seemed a little over angry, like written. It wasn't that the actor portrayed him wrong. I think it was written to be kind of over the top with that hatred. And
I feel like when I first watched it, I'm like, this is how every black comedian says they would act in a horror movie. Because he's like, I'm out of here. I ain't dealing with this. And he'd leave. I'm like, okay, this is what every black comedian says. This is the
first to
stereotype.
die.
Yeah, he's like, because every time something would get where he's like, this is stupid. Why are we doing all this? He's like, I'm leaving. And he'd get out of there. And that's kind of what
He was very angry for 11 years old.
Yeah.
He had a
Actually-
yeah.
part that I didn't get with him was, remember when Dustin tells him the reason you two are fighting because you're best friends?
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't realize that you're best friends and all that. Then they
Yeah.
never touched on that again. Like, they just made up at the end and they shook hands, drew first blood and all that. But they never really were like,
Well,
you are my best. I thought that was kind of like a pointless part. I didn't really get that.
Well,
Because they were kind of all like best friends.
yeah, well, and
Yeah.
and then the thing about Dustin, like accepting, like he's your best friend. Like I know it's not me. I know we're friends, but it's not me. He is. And Will trying to say, no, we're all best friends.
Will
you
wasn't
know,
saying
and-
anything. He was captured.
Or yeah,
Will was
Mike,
captured.
Mike, sorry,
Will was crying in a fort.
in some weird dimension.
It was
kids were-
toxic, but
Kids were good. Like I said, I really liked 11. I liked the way they did with her. I liked the way they did her powers,
yeah.
which were cool. You know, I think it's cliche when they do the nosebleed stuff, whenever they do mental powers.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
nosebleeds. Like Jean Grey's nosebleed, you know, when she did.
I think it's a cheap way to show that they're using their power.
And then it's hurting them.
yeah.
It's
Well, it's physically exhausting.
physically exhausting. A little bit of blood trickles out your nose. You know, if you ever see anybody with a bloody nose, they're probably doing some mental shit. So watch out for them. But she was cool. The adults, Winona Ryder played Joyce, the mother, Joyce Byers. I thought Winona Ryder was really good.
She got on my
Some
nerves.
people didn't like her. I thought she was really good.
She annoyed the crap out of me.
Well, Chid was missing.
That's a hard role to play.
Yeah.
If someone tells you, look, you're like this.
I like the
broken-
two people. Well, Perry doesn't have any kids, but like
Yeah.
we're like whatever. She's annoying. She broke down too much because her kids were missing.
Yeah.
That wasn't what annoyed me. I don't think. My problem with
She
her
didn't show her
is
tits enough.
Yeah, that was it.
she played the same. She played the same character she played in
Edward
Dazed
Scissorhands.
and Confused.
Okay, but listen.
wasn't in Dazed and
listen.
Confused.
wasn't in that
No,
city, buddy.
what's the?
Heather's.
No, not Heather.
No, she was awesome.
Pump
in
up the
Heathers.
jam. I don't know what you're
Reality
trying to...
Bites?
What was she in?
Reality Bites?
Yes. Thank
She
you,
wasn't the
Karen.
same character.
She was the exact same
But,
character.
okay, I
All
can't-
she wanted
wait,
to do
wait,
was
wait,
drink
wait.
coffee and smoke cigarettes and cry
Hold
about
on.
missing
I got to
kids.
get angry for a minute here. We went and saw Suicide Squad 2 weeks ago, and you loved that movie. Will Smith played the same goddamn character that he plays in every movie, and you thought it was fantastic.
I did not say anything.
He was the same.
of
He
the
was,
sort
he was
about
Mike
Will
Lowry
Smith.
from Bad Boys. But
No, because he didn't bang anyone's sister.
It was ridiculous. She played a really good, unique
Yeah.
role. Her child's missing. She's seeing crazy lights. No one believes her. That's hard to do. I'd give her a lot of credit.
Yes, she
I think
can
she
do
was
no
awesome.
wrong.
I didn't
I
say
love
she
that
didn't
woman.
do a good job. I just said she annoyed me.
All right. So what'd you think about the sheriff? Let's talk about the sheriff.
Hobbs was great.
Yeah.
Or Hops?
Hopper.
Hopper.
Hopper. I liked him.
I thought when he first debuted, I thought, oh, here's your same kind of typical, he's an idiot sheriff.
Mondays are for coffee and contemplation.
He's an idiot. I thought he was going to get killed.
Yeah, I thought
I
so
was like,
too.
well, he's going to get killed. He's an idiot. And then you're like, wow, he's like a really in-depth character. His daughter died.
Yeah.
He's smart. He believed her. Like, they really
And he
took-
punches so many people out in one punch.
Oh, my God.
He's got ridiculous, it's just punching powers.
he has great punching powers. I mean, he was knocking people out. He was a really fantastic character.
He knocked out 6 federal agents.
He
And
did.
like, it's like, ha-cha! Punch
He
in
was
the
a
face.
New York City cop. You don't
Yeah.
mess with him.
Yeah.
Hopper.
Yeah. Banging everyone in town, too.
That was cool though, because they took a stereotypical character. They were like, "Well, the idiot
made
town
him
sheriff,"
really
and made
good
him
and
really
bad.
interesting.
Chopper.
Two podcasts again going on.
You're sloppy, but damn, you get the job done.
Listen, Hopper.
What are you two doing over there right now? What are you doing?
Loose cannon, Hopper.
What are you doing? You doing a scene from a movie?
You cool your jets, Hopper. You're all over the map.
What are you talking about?
Gun and bags.
I'm lost. I
I'm
don't know
lost
what's going
too.
on.
They just
Okay,
okay.
no, I'm done. I'm done.
Time out. Perry just completely derailed us and is doing
what I do. That's
some
what I
kind
do.
of imitation for. What were you doing?
Just like a renegade cop. I don't know. The mayor.
And Ken's loving it.
Mayor's gonna have my ass for this.
Is he done?
All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Should we pause?
Should I leave? Should I just leave the store?
Just give me a second.
They're just having their own interaction. He's doing voices and Ken's laughing hysterically over here. I don't even know where I was at. I'm confused.
We're
All right,
talking
Don,
about
let's,
Hopper.
let's move on.
Yeah, Hopper, the cop.
Yeah, the
Okay.
cop's great.
The copper.
All right. What? Okay. What's next? Where were we at?
Best. I mean, we were talking about Perry's
Hopper.
We were talking
fantasy
We were
New York City cop.
all right. So he went off
Beat
on a little
cop.
police chief rant, pretending that he was Hopper's police chief in New York. Let's forget all that.
Yeah.
We're talking about the character breakdown of the show. Sorry.
That was 2.5 minutes long. That
Oh, it's
segment.
worth it.
Well, then edit it out if you don't want to listen to
Don't
it.
take me out.
I thought it was great. Though.
Okay, wow.
Oh, calm down.
All right. Next.
So,
what are we talking
what
about?
other characters do we is there any? Are we missing anyone? There's Will's brother,
Will's brother I liked a lot.
Jonathan.
Mike's sister,
Jonathan Byers, and Nancy.
Nancy.
Will, yeah, his brother is my favorite.
He was a little. You. That's you. I
He was
feel
me
like,
in college.
I think if Perry was, grew up in the '80s and was like a teenager in the '80s, that would have been Perry. Listening to like
The Clash.
the Clash and.
Yeah, but
It's,
you don't
it's
know.
all the same music he listens to
Yeah.
already,
Yeah,
but
it's
he would
cool.
have had a camera, and he would have been artsy, and then I would have came along and
kicked my
Steved him
ass.
and beat him up and broke his camera.
He was okay. He was a little bit. I don't know. That was again. That's a tough role to play. His brother's missing. He was kind of like a dork. Where I was confused with him was I thought he was older, and then I'm like, oh, he's in high school with them. Like, I didn't put that together at first because he says he has a job and he's
Yeah.
working and he's paying bills, and then like he shows up at the school hanging posters and like, look
He's
at this
clearly
guy.
much older.
And then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait a minute, he's in school with them. Like, how old is this kid?
I think he's a senior, and he was like working. We ditched school to work sometimes to help out the family.
He was a little strange with that. And Nancy, she was okay. Her and Steve were kind of annoying.
I liked Steve because he was like a lot like the story arc of Hopper. You see Steve for the first time, you're like, oh, this is going to be the jock antagonist for the other nerd, and then by the end of it, he's like, realizes he really does care for Nancy, and
Yeah.
then he's like feels bad about.
Then he had that asshole friend.
Yeah, that he.
Yeah.
I hated that.
They were those two
and
were
that
so
girl.
stereotypical
They were
dumb.
worst two characters in the show.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to like him.
Not that I didn't like them. I just thought the characters were lame too. I mean,
they were
it
kinda
was just.
goofy. But Steve redeems himself at the
Yeah.
end.
I like that he
saves the
gets the-
day.
Not enough.
I didn't like him at the end. Yeah, people don't forget, you know?
Not
I
enough.
like
He
camera.
redeemed himself. But like, I wrote a note down as I'm watching this. When they're
covered in
sitting
water right now.
when at the end when she gives Jonathan the present and then she goes back and sits on the couch with Steve, I'm like, why the f- is she still with asshole Steve?
Because he kind of like he was a good guy and he like helped saved her, and then he went back and erased the mean shit that they were saying about her.
And he's trying to be a good guy. And
I thought that was okay because it was too easy that kid, Jonathan and Nancy, all of a sudden he's going to get the popular girl
it's
because
like
they fought a monster together. It was like, they don't need to go there. You could maybe go there in a future season, but
Yeah.
she's still with her
when
boyfriend.
something kills Steve.
Yeah, when something kills
Yeah.
Steve.
Go
I-
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had Matthew Modine from the 80s as Dr. Brenner,
Who looked like
so creepy. and
government
weird.
Doc Brown.
Yeah, he was
Had
so
white
creepy.
hair. It was, but he played that part well. Like whenever I saw him and he's like all like long jackets and whatnot, I thought
Yeah,
it was cool.
I think he died. Did he die?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we'll
The
get
monster killing him?
Yeah, well, the monster kills him.
One of my favorite characters was Mike's dad.
Who was oblivious to everything
He
in the
was
world.
so
yeah.
clueless. It was great. And keep eating your chicken, Howard, or whatever his name was. I forget what his name was. He's just sitting, and then he goes, "What I do?" After she walks away. "What I do?" He said it like twice. I'm like, that guy's great. 'Cause
Yeah, and he's oblivious. If you watch
Oblivious.
him in the scenes, he is never on what's going on.
Yeah.
Like when they're trying to help the kids, he's talking to like a cop.
Yeah, he's
and
so
no one
confused.
He has no idea what's going on ever.
Well, and then the scene where he and the wife, after the agents all come in and like ransack the house,
Yeah.
and he and the wife are standing there looking out the window, and the wife's clued in. She's like, "These people aren't right."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Honey, you have to trust them. If you can't trust your government, you can't trust anybody."
Yeah, he's
and I'm
just
like,
such an idiot.
"That's a note on today."
Which I think is very. It was why the line
The
was
chicken
written.
part was great. Just keep sitting there eating your chicken. And he's just like so out of it.
What I do?
Language! He would just yell that when the kids were swearing.
Yep.
But he was really good. I liked him. And I also liked the science teacher.
Oh,
Is he a science
yeah,
teacher?
For sure.
Yeah, he was the science
Mr.
teacher.
Clark.
Got him the radio, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was good. I liked how he was. So let's get into our best moments. We'll go around the table.
All right.
Like, what do you like best about this show? Justin, what was your favorite thing about this show?
Why do we have to start with me?
All right, Ken, what was your favorite thing
No,
about
it was
Apparently, I don't get a say in it.
I think the best thing overall about the show was the kids' performances. I was really impressed with how professional. I mean, usually young kids, some of them can act, but these kids were really good. And
You said they're real
Stop it.
professional. I pictured the entire cast in little suits and briefcases.
Showing up to
oh man,
My brain doesn't. it's
animal
weird.
crackers in the
Yep.
briefcase.
So go ahead, keep going.
Some snack packs.
no, it was the show was really well done. I'm still not as big on it as you guys were.
Why?
I don't know. It just didn't really click with me. Or I don't know.
I think because you were playing video games while you're watching it.
I
No,
agree.
because the last half of the season I didn't. I made sure
But there's a lot of setup going on before that.
Yeah, you were playing
I
Ark and
watched-
stupid space games.
I
while-
watched it enough that but it
Space
just didn't click with. I mean, we talked about this in the '80s stuff. I'm not huge on the '80s. You guys are all
Kills me.
big
Kills
'80s
me.
fans.
I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't know. But okay. Well, here's my thing. I liked it the best because it was set in the 80s. Because not only for the references, but you and I talked about this the other day. If this show was set in modern times, it would be it wouldn't work as well. Meaning, like, when the girl's missing, they would have just called her cell phone.
Yeah.
When the kids want to figure out how to put 11 in the water and do that chamber, they would have got on Google, and it wouldn't have been as funny as him having to call his teacher on a Saturday night and ask him questions
night, yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like, so all,
With the Asian girl that
Yeah.
they wouldn't have been able to use walkie-talkies. They would have just been, I'm just going to call Mike's cell phone and see where he's at. So all set in the 80s and set in that like time, like showing her a TV. This is a colored TV. It's a 22-inch, and this is a
Yeah.
Lazy Boy. All that stuff was cool. In modern times, it wouldn't have been as good.
I completely agree. It wouldn't have worked at all, but it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me.
Just didn't resonate with him.
Oh.
What would you like the most about it?
I think if I had to pinpoint one thing that was my favorite part of the entire show was the D&D tie-in.
Yeah.
The fact, and I think that it's going to play a bigger role
Okay.
in the overall of the show, which I want to talk about later on
All right.
in the next podcast. But I think that the D&D references and all the having the kids the imagination and showing that them having fun and then they're bonding over that, I think it's great.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
I like that.
Second, two, they actually show how the lights are being affected from the upside down
From
world.
where the people were walking.
Yeah, because they
The
followed
light
them
would go
walk.
off.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And it showed how Will was talking to, his mom through the lights. And then
I love the upside down. I thought that was a cool idea.
I think I think it was great.
I like how you didn't even realize, the one girl doesn't even realize she's in it. Nancy, when she runs through the tree,
Yeah.
is like, doesn't know that she's in another universe all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
It's like Elwood City.
When
Like,
you go
oh,
through,
shit, turn around.
Not in the upside down.
I'm outta
I'm in
here.
Elwood City.
I lived in the upside down.
What about the monster? I thought the monster was great.
Well, did you
yeah.
notice that there was two of them?
Was there two?
There was. So here's how I'm going to break it down.
All right, how do you know there's two of them? I didn't know.
They come across a very alien movie looking egg pop open.
Okay, I remember that.
All right, so they focus on that. And then whenever they set the trap in the house,
Yeah.
simultaneously there is another monster at the school. Whenever they catch the one on fire and they put his leg in the trap,
Yeah.
that one disappears. Then Hopper and Will's mom are following that blood trail, while the other one that's smaller is attacking the school. And they follow the blood trail into the library.
Yeah.
So that one you never see resolution of. You never find that one.
Because the one she killed. Yeah,
The
see,
one with the face that opened up like a flower.
That's the one. Well, they both open up like a flower. I think that they spawned eggs. The smaller one was killed in the school. The one that had its leg in a trap is still somewhere breeding, which gets to the ending where they pulled the thing out of Will's mouth in the library.
Huh.
Because
See, I
that
didn't pick
other-
up that there was two.
I didn't either.
I think because they showed the other one like running and jumping and everything. That other one, when they showed it leave, was like had a limp and it lost a lot of blood. And you could see with the steps, it was like blood hop, and then there was a trail, and then another.
Wow,
blood.
I didn't even pick up that. I thought
Yeah.
there was just one.
No, there's two, and that's why I think that it's going to show that there's more in that universe.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get that. Oh my, yeah, that's the
But
next
that's good.
podcast.
What did you like the best about it?
I like the lights a lot too. That's not my favorite. I just liked how it was almost like paranormal. I loved that, how it was lighting up the letters. But honestly, the soundtrack was my favorite.
Well, the
Does
music
that
It did have
count?
a good soundtrack.
It was-
The soundtrack's on Spotify, and it's all those songs. It's wonderful.
See, I wasn't
man.
sure when it began if it was supernatural or alien, which I'm still not sure what it is.
You don't know.
Because it might not even be
Yeah.
supernatural. It's not like ghosts. It's another dimension. So
Another dimension.
it was.
just
I
liked
saw an
the-
article. They were actually talking about how like certain parts of string theory that like upside down is actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a parallel universe, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
It goes to a different frequency,
Yeah.
and I love the analogy that they use too with the flea. This person can jump.
flea and the acrobat.
Oh, yeah, the flea and the acrobat. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I
The
like
titles
the,
of the shows were really good
yeah.
too.
Like the score, the music, it was like early 80s drama,
Yeah.
horror, sci-fi. It was perfect.
great.
The
Yep.
font was like Stephen King font.
That font I was reading about was taken right from the original D&D player's manual.
Oh,
Yes,
perfect.
I saw
All
that
right.
too. Yeah,
Yep.
cool. All right, so
So,
let's
yeah.
talk about what we didn't like. We'll start with the guy who didn't like it.
Again,
whole
it's
thing.
not
Yeah.
that I just didn't like it. It just didn't. It didn't wow me. I guess. I don't know. I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
Yeah.
I'll watch another season of it.
Is there
without
anything
a
that you
problem.
didn't that really bothered you? Well, Winona Ryder,
Winona Ryder, bugged me.
right?
And but
Will
I mean,
Smith.
if that's the only thing that really bugged me about the show,
Yeah.
then that's fine.
Could have used more Will Smith.
You could use more Will Smith. Triangle, bitch. Stupid line. What did you not like about it?
Nothing. Nothing that I can think of. It was pretty perfect.
Anything you think they could have done
loved it.
better?
I mean, I didn't like how the girl ended up with the bully idiot, but it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a big deal. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is real life.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
Always
know,
get chicks too.
Yeah.
just
How
give me
about-
what give me what I want.
What
That's
about
I
you?
want.
You could tell that they didn't have a whole lot of budget when it came to special effects for certain things.
Right.
Which hopefully that'll come in time
Yeah.
with how popular the show is. The other thing I didn't like was I just lost it. Oh, I got it. All right, so when you're watching it and they go through all these different like facets of the storyline where the kids are figuring out that it's the upside down.
Yeah.
And then the brother and sister, they're figuring out that they see it in the woods and it's attracted by blood and how that monster. And then Hopper and Will's mom's figuring out the other part of it. I wish they would have had a conversation sooner.
Yeah.
And then because I was getting real annoyed that
they were all on the same path, but they didn't know about it.
Exactly.
I was annoyed with that too.
And I understand the not getting the kids involved, but if Will's brother would have talked to his mother sooner, I feel like that could have been
right.
But I understand why.
And they did the whole thing where this is your sister, you live in the same house, and you don't even communicate.
Yeah.
And then they realized, wow, we're having the same thing. We need to be closer. Which, their relationship was better after that. But, yeah, there was a lot of, miscommunication and stuff going
which
on.
gets annoying to me because I feel like that's an easy plot device to use nowadays.
Don yells about in every DC show on CW.
Miscommunication.
A 5-minute conversation could
work things out.
Could have avoided all the seasons.
Well, and it's even worse that the one guy knew that his mom was going through it. So if they would have talked, those 4 people would have been on a path, and then the kids could have
Yeah.
One of the things I didn't like is I really liked. I think his name was Benny. Ran a diner. I didn't like that they killed him right away because he seemed cool. His relationship he had with the girl, the way he was talking, he seemed like he might have been maybe a cool character, and they shot him in the head real fast.
Yeah, which is what you have to do to make you actually feel for those characters and realize how bad.
Well, I thought they were going to kill a science teacher, and I was like, oh, no, when they showed up at his house on date night now.
And I didn't like that it was 8 shows. I feel like it should have been 10.
Actually, I was fine with the amount of shows.
I would have liked a couple more. I like 10 shows. I like a nice...
Well, it doesn't matter. I feel like it flowed.
It did. It flowed. Maybe it would have... Maybe they could have just explored a little bit more.
I would have been so much more annoyed if they went 2 more episodes where they didn't all know the power, know how to fix the issue.
Well, I tell you what, the good thing about it, and, I heard someone mention this, is when they do flashbacks, they did flashbacks right. You know when you do Walking Dead flashbacks? It's a whole episode of flashbacks, and you're like, God, what is this for? Just to get the Morgan has a stick now, and he beats people with it. We had to
turned into Donatello.
We had to go through an hour of why he became Donatello. Where in this one, when they do a flashback, it was literally a flashback.
Yeah.
We flashed back, we showed you what happened, now we're back to right where we're at.
And it's not, and it was always it wasn't a flashback of a long storyline. It was him being jogged, Hopper's memory jogged this memory, and you're seeing the memory, and then it's done.
She goes to see Will inside of his tent, and it's her opening the door, talking to Will. Hey, you're in your tent. Oh, you want to go see a movie? I don't get scared anymore. I'm not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
Telling you that he's not afraid of this monster. He's trying to hide. Served a purpose, and then right back to reality.
And you totally knew whenever they showed that thing, he's like, that's where he's hiding it.
Yeah,
he's hiding in the
there.
Upside Down.
So why do you feel that the monster killed the redhead girl and not Will?
They explained early on that Will's really good at hiding from his abusive father.
So he was hiding for a long time.
He was hiding from the entire time.
And they got her right away.
Yeah.
And he put something in her mouth and did all that stuff.
Well, that's apparently how they spawn, maybe.
Well, it caught Will at the end because he got weak from I guess it's toxic there too, and he couldn't breathe. But real quick, another character I loved was Lonnie.
Which one was Lonnie?
Will's dad.
No, Will's. Oh yeah, Lonnie was good.
That asshole. He was hilarious.
Showed up just so he could sue the governor.
Just so he could sue him. I like when they go see him. He has the young girlfriend who's a total asshole on the phone, and then storms in there, and Lonnie has the car, and that's such I don't know. It reminded me of somebody from Newcastle. It's just what a piece of shit dad, and but he was just great because he showed up trying to be all nice at the funeral, and I'm like, what's he doing? And then it's oh, he's trying to screw him out of that. I wanted to see the monster kill Lonnie. I thought that would have been funny.
There's one other character I want to mention is the police officer that screwed everything up. Whenever the kid came in complaining about his arm was broken, he's like, so do you want to explain to us again how a little girl broke your arm with mind powers? He's like, quit saying it. He's like, I'm not trying to say, I'm just saying facts. That's what you told me. And I like that guy too.
Yeah, those kids were annoying. The little bullies.
Oh well, they did their job.
Yeah, they did their job, and they made him piss his pants, and
which was great.
And then broke his arm, and
But
yeah, they were all good. A lot of good characters. So we'll transition now. Justin, will there be a second season?
They announced just today, I think, officially that there will be a second season.
Good.
I think they actually said they wrote it that it could just be a one and done.
Which you could be fine. I would be fine with it if it was done, but I'm excited that it's going to be.
I want more.
Yeah, there's definitely more story to tell.
Yeah. And if you want to hear our speculations on what those stories will be, check into the next podcast.
Tune in tomorrow. Predictions episode. Your favorite. 3,000 likes coming our way.
Listen tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Please like, share, subscribe, and like.
Bye.